Welcome to the mayhem, my fellow Cannabians. I am Weeder McGrowin, and this is 420 News, brought to you exclusively on US Weed Channel and USWC Rocks Radio. You won't believe our top stories tonight. Maryland has raked in a whopping $26.2 million in cannabis tax revenue from January to March, proving that money really does grow on trees, or at least in their leaves. With numbers like these, even politicians might start seeing green without the need for rose-colored glasses. They can't claim it's a joint effort, but it might sure roll over into more states as a model. Remember, folks, it's not just the weed that's high, expectations are too. It's fascinating how quickly Maryland embraced this green rush. One might cynically wonder if their enthusiasm is due to newfound civic pride, or just the sweet aroma of tax dollars filling state coffers. Let's be honest, it's the kind of revenue that could make even the most uptight legislator loosen their tie a bit. And with just a sprinkle of irony, the politicians might finally realize that funding public services with cannabis taxes is much more effective than blowing smoke. Stay tuned for more pot news that's sure to spark your interest. Virginia, known for lovers and now future lovers of a different leaf. Spanberger and her crew of merry legislators have unveiled a retail weed plan set to hit the markets by July 2027. That's right, folks. Just 4 years until Virginians can legally buy their ganja without resorting to the old DIY botany club. Now, why the long wait, you ask? Well, if government efficiency were a strain, it would be indica, because it's not getting up in a hurry. They're actually allowing plenty of time for the hemp suit lobbyists to find their way there. One can't help but wonder, will they beat California's bureaucracy by just a hair on the hemp? On the bright side, Virginia is finally getting into the groove, albeit fashionably late. The only thing growing faster than enthusiasm for this plan are the plants themselves. Keep your fingers green and your hopes high. Well. It appears we have an unlikely hero stepping onto the scene. Former DEA section chief is challenging the marijuana rescheduling process. It seems like he's decided that fighting cannabis is a bit like trying to teach a cat to fetch, futile and slightly ridiculous. With the US government taking its sweet time to decide whether cannabis should remain a Schedule I drug, it's intriguing that someone from the old guard is now questioning the proceedings. This move might surprise some folks, but honestly, isn't it about time someone from the DEA realized that cannabis prohibition is older than the pyramids? While debates rage on like a never-ending Grateful Dead concert, it seems our former chief has seen the light. Or maybe he's just seen the rising profits in the industry. Rescheduling cannabis could mean a seismic shift in how it's perceived both legally and socially in the US. However, it's worth noting that navigating the bureaucracy might be tougher than a burnt-out activist trying to find their couch keys after a big night in. Keep your eyes peeled, my puffin pals, because this is a high-stakes game. Now let's see if our former chief can roll this uphill battle into victory. Cannabis retail, a tale of smoke, mirrors, and the occasional munchies. The latest saga involves net lease investors, who seem to be overlooking opportunities faster than I can misplace my lighter. Northmark advises these investors to consider the budding prospects that cannabis retail holds. In other words, they might be missing the pot at the end of the green rainbow. It's like they're standing next to a treasure chest full of gold leaf, but they're too focused on the doom and gloom of regulations and market flux. Perhaps they think a green rush is what happens when they accidentally mix their edibles. Oh, wary investors, if only they could see that the market for cannabis retail is as sticky as the best strains out there. Meanwhile, retailers are busy innovating like Picasso with a palette of purples and greens, yielding customized, extravagant experiences that would make even a sober person giggle. Now, if only we could get the investors to focus less on their skeptic spectacles and more on the kaleidoscope of possibilities. Until then, the prospects of a joint venture remain blissfully hazy. Breaking new ground in the grass business, the Finger Lakes Cannabis Growers Showcase is set to sprout on June 28th at the lush Lincoln Hill Farms. It's the first in a series of 4 events, courtesy of the Greater Rochester Chamber of Commerce. That's right, folks. Move over cheese tasting. We've got something a little less Gouda. This event promises to highlight local talents in cultivation, giving farmers the chance to flaunt their finest foliage. So, whether you're a seasoned connoisseur or simply trying to weed out the competition, there's something for everyone. Of course, it wouldn't be a true cannabis gathering without a hint of irony. Organized by a Chamber of Commerce. Who knew High Times could be so well suited for blue suits? Keep your eyes peeled and your plants greener. This one's sure to be a budding success. In a move that's just a tad quicker than a snail on sedatives, Virginia has announced it will launch adult-use cannabis dispensary sales in 2027. Yes, you heard right. The future where Virginia Green isn't just the state's nickname, but also its main export, is a mere 4 years away. They say patience is a virtue, but if you're waiting for weed in Virginia, you might want to pick up knitting. Let's hope the legislators aren't simply hightailing it out of responsibility, and remember the benefits of an enhanced state economy. Tuning in from Virginia? You've got plenty of time to plan the grand opening outfit. May I suggest some hemp fabric for a sustainable touch? Let's hope by 2027, buying weed won't feel like waiting for George R.R. Martin's next book. Stay tuned, Cannabians. Who knows, by then, we might even have hoverboards to go with our specially grown hybrids. In a move that's lifting spirits higher than a kite in a windstorm, Michigan's top cannabis regulator has rolled themselves up into a new position as president of CANNRA, the Cannabis Regulators Association. Talk about a joint effort, eh? Now, CANNRA isn't just your average bowl of regulations, it's the gold standard for those keeping the cannabis industry above board. With Michigan's chief now at the helm, you can bet there might be more than just the mitten getting greener. Of course, the real challenge is whether they can keep everyone grounded while they plot new highs in cannabis policy. Some might say it's like herding cats, or better yet, herding stoners out of a Taco Bell at midnight. Stay tuned to see if CANNRA blazes new trails, or if they'll just continue to hash things out. As always, this is your buds at US Weed Channel keeping you in the loop. Virginia is setting the stage to join the cannabis soiree by launching its market in 2027. Yes, indeed! The land of lovers is now also the land of potential high times. But before you light up, know this. They've capped licenses. So the green rush in Virginia will be more of a green saunter. Now, dear bureaucrats, why take your sweet time until 2027? At this rate, we might colonize Mars before we legalize cannabis everywhere. One small puff for man, right? Tune back in soon, as Virginia might also discover fire by 2028. Stay tuned as we keep our eyes on this budding enterprise. Visit usweedchannel.com for more updates as they roll out. Parliamentary Budget Office's latest report reveals that medical cannabis could save the government a substantial wad of cash. Apparently, going green might just help our wallets stay in the black. Who would have thought the secret to balancing budgets was right under their noses this whole time? But, in classic government fashion, while counting the beans, they forgot about some of the hidden costs. Perhaps they need a bit more, clarity in their estimates. Ladies and gentlemen, it appears that our elected officials might need to update their calculators, or, at the very least, their rolling papers. It's almost like they're refusing to roll with the times, isn't it? In a move that's got everyone from Tacoma to Timbuktu talking, it seems federal marijuana rescheduling is about as effective on Washington businesses as a teapot without the tea. State officials have announced that the new classification doesn't apply to them. Apparently, in Washington, pot and federal logic pass each other like ships in the night, without a single hi. One might say this is a classic case of federal oversight, where the oversight is, well, oversight. But let's give credit where credit is due. The government did manage to reschedule cannabis right out of Washington's frame of relevance. It's like they've been sampling their stockpile instead of their statistics. Remember, folks, give a man a job and he'll be productive for a day. Teach a man to grow pot and, well, he'll probably end up in Washington figuring out what to do without federal intrusion. And while Washington businesses continue to operate in their own leafy universe, one has to wonder, who's really in charge here? Check out the latest on usweedchannel.com and join the hazy conversation. Those are your updates today, my puffers and puffettes. Try not to get caught up in the madness. Stay grounded and lifted, and be good humans. Remember to support all things US. Weed channel as we create a voice for cannabians worldwide. Like, love, share, and definitely get the app. This is Weeder McGrowin with 420 News on US Weed channel. Thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow.